Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
Ananta Kota Vaishnavindi Ki Jai. Ācārya Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Goswami Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasari Gaura Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Gopinath Syam Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai. Rangamaya Ki Tulsi Ki Bhaktivedanta Ki Hare Ram Sankirtanam Ki Śrīmad Bhāgavatam's appearance day Ki Go Premanandi Glorious today, because today is the most auspicious day of the appearance of Ācārya. We'll read one verse here, what I believe is the first verse, the 6th chapter of the Ādi-līlā. Is that correct? 161? Correct? Yes. Basically done the invocation mantras for the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, some of the basic ones. And this introductory verse for the 6th chapter, the topics, the subject matter of the 6th chapter is regarding the great Ācārya. This deals more with, you could say, the philosophic, the esoteric, the very detailed description of who is the great Ācārya in relationship with this world and in relationship with the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna. We'll hear about him now. So if you'd like to kindly repeat after me, please. Vande, 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 Śrīmad Ācārya, Advaita-Acharya, Vandekam Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Advaita-Acharya Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Yasya prasadagyopi nirupayet Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet
Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam
Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam
Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet
Yasya prasadagyopi tatsvarupam nirupayet
Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam
Vandekam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharya Advaita-Chestitam
Yasya prasadagyopi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Yasya prasada yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Vandetam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharyam Adbhuta-chestitam.
Vandetam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharyam Adbhuta-chestitam.
Yasya prasada yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Yasya prasada yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Vandetam Advaitam
Śrīmad.
Śrīmad Adbhuta Chestitam.
Vandetam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharyam Adbhuta-chestitam.
Yasya prasadopi tat sarupam nirupayet.
Yasya prasada yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Ladies, mothers.
Vandetam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharyam Adbhuta-chestitam.
Vandetam Śrīmad Advaita-Acharyam Adbhuta-chestitam.
Yasya prasadat yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Yasya prasada yogi tatsarupam nirupayet.
Vande.
Vande.
I offer my respectful obeisances.
I offer my respectful obeisances
Unto him.
unto him.
Śrīmad.
Śrīmad.
All uplands.
All blessings.
Advaita-Acharyam.
Advaita-Acharyam.
Shri Advaita-Acharya.
Shri Advaita-Acharya.
Adbhuta-chestitam.
Adbhuta-chestitam.
Whose activities are wonderful.
Whose activities are wonderful.
Yasya.
Yasya.
Of whom.
Of whom.
Prasada.
Prasada.
Of the mercy.
Of the mercy.
Agyapi.
Agyapi.
A foolish person.
Even a foolish person.
Tatsarupam.
Tatsarupam.
His characteristics.
His characteristics.
Nirupaye.
Nirupaye.
May describe.
May describe.
Translation, there's no purport. I offer my respectful obeisances to Shri Advaita-Acharya, whose activities are all wonderful. By his mercy, even a foolish person can describe his characteristics. And I'll just read a few more verses here, then we'll go on to the appearance of Advaita-Acharya, whatever else time we have for. If you do have your notebooks, notepads, iPads, laptops, mobiles, whatever you've got, you can maybe follow this text number 4. Lord Advaita-Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Because he is not different from Hare, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita, and because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Ācārya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore I take shelter of him. Interesting. He's also known as incarnation. You see in the 7th chapter, next chapter, this Ādi-līlā described as Bhaktivedanta, incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He appears as incarnation of a devotee, as well as the incarnation of the Lord himself in the form of Mahavishnu. He becomes Advaita-Acharya. It's a pretty thankless task, you could say, in a sense, creating this material world. It's like, just creating massive prison houses all over the place. That's it. There's different varieties of cells within a prison house for the errant living entities to reside in. So he appears in this form of Advaita-Acharya also as a combined form. There's also Sadashiva, Lord Shiva, from whom the Shiva comes. A combined form to deliver the living entities. This is idea. We'll hear about that later on. In a prison house, it's not we just like to see the prisoners suffer and keep them there forevermore. One hopes that they will reform. So the Lord himself, and Vishnu, creates the universe, impregnates all living entities within the universe. He himself enters in this form of Advaita-Acharya within the universe with the personal intention of trying to awaken everyone to Krishna consciousness, wake them up. Sri Advaita-Acharya is indeed directly the Supreme Personality of God himself. His glory is beyond the conception of ordinary living beings. I think I'm going to leave it. It goes into very great depth, describing very deeply the kind of philosophical aspect of Advaita-Acharya. We could carry on reading, but I'm going to read from some notes on Advaita-Acharya, which have been taken from different scriptures, some from Bhaktivedanta, some from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and Caitanya-caritāmṛta, of course. Backpedal a little bit. It's also in the 6th chapter, so we'll read a few of these. Just a few. Being a reservoir of all auspicious attributes, Sri Advaita-Acharya is all auspicious for the world. His characteristics, activities, and name are always auspicious. He is the spiritual master of all devotees and is the most revered personality in the world. By a combination of these two names, his name is Advaita-Acharya. He is none different than the Supreme Lord, he also the teacher. It is through him, Advaita-Acharya, that Lord Chaitanya spread the Sankirtan movement, and through him that he delivered the world. The glory and attributes of Advaita-Acharya are unlimited. How can the insignificant living entities fathom them? Sri Advaita-Acharya is the principal limb of Lord Chaitanya. Another limb of the Lord is Nityananda Prabhu. Thinking he, Advaita-Acharya, is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri, Lord Chaitanya obeys him, respecting him as his spiritual master. To maintain the proper etiquette for the principles of religion, Lord Chaitanya bows down at the lotus feet of Sri Advaita-Acharya with reverential prayers and devotion. Sri Advaita-Acharya, however, considers Lord Chaitanya his master, and he thinks of himself as a servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya, a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya and a servant of his servants. Let's see. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is also, you could say, even as he appears as Lord Chaitanya, to relish or to experience the emotions of a devotee and what it is, the experience of serving Krishna. The Lord himself also, in the form of Advaita-Acharya, is taking this role. In the form of Puriyaj, he also takes this role of the servant, although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He considers himself a servant of Krishna. But Advaita-Acharya also, not just the Lord, he wants to serve the devotees. It is at highest pleasure. You're higher than being God. Some people want to be God, but higher than being God is to be a servant of God. Servant. Saying this, Advaita-Acharya dances and loudly sings. Next moment he quietly sits down. The source of the sentiment of servitude is indeed Lord Balaram. The plenary expansions that follow are all influenced by that ecstasy. He liberated the universe by preaching Sankirtan. Thus the people of the world receive the treasure of love of Godhead through the mercy of Sri Advaita. All the expansions of the Lord are basically Krishna, basically expansions to fulfill the Lord's personal desires, although they're none different than himself. It's like the limbs of our body or the various organs in our body, they all serve the purpose of the whole. We sometimes do, we expand also to fulfill our own purposes. Your glories are as fathomless as millions of oceans and seas. Speaking of its measure is a great offense indeed. All glories to Sri Advaita-Acharya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Superior Lord Nityananda. We already read this verse. I meditate upon this Vandetang Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. I pray to Sri Advaita-Acharya, who performs especially wonderful pastimes, and by his mercy I may be able to easily describe the difficult to understand philosophical truths regarding his glory. I meditate upon that source of transcendental joy, Sri Advaita Prabhu, whose lotus feet are always served by the bhaktas. He wears cloth as white as the moon or jasmine flower. He has a smiling face, beautiful arms, and a pure golden complexion. Advaita's eyes always gaze upon the lotus face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He readily grants benedictions and fearlessness to the devotees. His whole body is ornamented with Krishna prema. The foremost of all the Vaishnavas who reside at Navadvip is Sri Advaita-Acharya, whose virtuous presence has made all the worlds blessed. He is the most preeminent preceptor in all fields including knowledge, renunciation, and devotion. In explaining Krishna Bhakti, he is like unto Lord Shankara himself, Lord Shiva. And whatever scriptures that exist within the three worlds he explains in the light of Krishna Bhakti. Lord Advaita-Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu's main He who is Sri Sadashiva is the Bhakta avatar, Sri Advaita Prabhu, stated in the Gorgandesh Dipika. Sri Advaita, who is a reservoir of virtues, is the main limb of Mahavishnu. He delivered all living entities by offering the gift of Krishna Bhakti. He explained Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhāgavatam in the light of devotional service. Lord Advaita-Acharya is directly the Supreme Lord. Although Lord Chaitanya accepts him as his preceptor, Advaita-Acharya is the servant of the Lord. There is one Mahaprabhu and two Prabhus. One Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya, and two Prabhus, Advaita and Janananda. The two Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Now a little bit, I'm not sure it's maybe from Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Lord Shiva's friend Kuvera, the king of the Guyakas, appeared in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Kuvera Pandit, the father of Lord Advaita. Formerly on Mount Kailash, where the Siddhas and Satyas reside, Kuvera, who is very dear to Lord Shiva, chanted a transcendental mantra containing the names of Lord Shiva. Merciful Lord Shiva then said to Kuvera, "Please ask for some benediction. It is my desire to give you some gift." Kuvera then asked for benediction, saying, "O Lord, O my Lord, please become my son." Requested in this way, Lord Sadashiva, the master of the demigods and the best of philanthropists, said to Kuvera, "During my next birth in the material world, I shall accept the position of being your son." In this way, Kuvera attained a very difficult to attain benediction. When the appropriate time arrived, by Lord Sadashiva's mercy, Kuvera became the father of Lord Advaita-Acharya. The Supreme Lord's Yogamaya potency appeared in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Sri Sita Devi, the wife of the Lord Advaita-Acharya. Sita Devi is Yogamaya. This is from Bhaktivedanta. In Bengal, there is a village named Srihata, named Navagram, where Kuvera Pandit, son of Nrsimha, lived. Kuvera Pandit was exalted on the path of devotion. He knew nothing except the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. On the same standard of devotion was his chaste wife, Navadevi, the mother of Advaita, who was worshipable by all. They settled in Shantipur near the Ganges and were always absorbed in discussing Krishna Katha. One day, Sri Kuvera Pandit and his wife wanted to die after hearing Vaishnava blasphemy. Seeing their state, one fortunate soul pacified them by the desire of Lord Krishna. Even though they were still unhappy, they both fell asleep. After a short time, they both had a wonderful dream. A beautiful, effulgent person, whose bodily luster defeated the beauty of a mountain of gold, appeared before them. This person was holding the hand of another exceedingly beautiful person, and in sweet words said to him, "You should quickly incarnate to relieve the unhappiness of the living entities who are suffering under the onslaughts of Kali Yuga. By your loving invitation, I will be unable to remain here. I will quickly appear along with my elder brother. Hearing these words, the second person became very happy, and at an auspicious moment, he entered the womb of Navadevi. Seeing this, Kuvera Pandit became very blissful, and as he awoke, his heart became overwhelmed. Kuvera Pandit, who was a learned scholar in all the Shastras, considered in his mind that the Supreme Lord would appear in Kali Yuga in the form of Guru. Thinking this way, along with his wife, he again became overwhelmed and could not check his tears. From that day on, Navadevi manifested signs of pregnancy, and she therefore returned to Navagram. On the 7th day of the bright fortnight of the month of March, the great ocean of ecstasy swelled to its limit, being forcibly attracted by the moon of Advaita, who appeared from the womb of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, as the moon appears in the autumn sky. The whole world became joyful as Advaita Prabhu appeared in the village of Navagram. His father Sri Kuvera Pandit floated in that ocean of joy and great happiness. He gave many gifts in charity to the Brahmins. Very quietly he approached the maternity room to get a glimpse of his newborn son. Then his own face began to shine by the reflected light of that moon-like personage. The residents of Navagram came running to see the child. Everyone remarked they had never seen such a beautiful baby. What pious activities his father must have performed to get such a jewel of a son, that in his old age. Thus, Ganesham sings about this occasion. He's singing about Advaita Bhaktivedanta. The child was named Mongol, and his other name was Kamalaksha. Suddenly a voice arose from him. Sri Krishna Caitanya will appear in this world, along with Sri Nityananda Ram. Together with their associates, they will enjoy wonderful pastimes. They will distribute loving devotional service in each and every house, thereby destroying the unhappiness and lamentation of the living entities. The oceans of bliss arising from the Sankirtan movement will overflow and inundate everyone without exception. This Kali Yuga is so glorious. Hearing this voice, everyone became joyful. The house of Kuvera Pandit became filled with auspiciousness. Fortunate people who witness Advaita-Acharya grow day by day, were filled with jubilation. Advaita would sometimes hide himself, and only by the will of Sri Caitanya was he found. Having Advaita in their village, the residents of Navagram floated in bliss, forgetting all unhappiness and lamentation. Although the Lord had two names, Kamalaksha and Advaita, everyone called him Advaita. The childhood pastimes of Advaita were very wonderful. Only fortunate persons were able to witness them. Who has the power to describe them? Sri Advaita Prabhu was like the pupil of everyone's eyes. This is all they saw in their eyes. They just wanted to see this young boy, Advaita Kamalaksha. They glorified him in lying down and in their dreams. Again and again I say that all of his associates were glorious, as is the land of Bengal, by the Lord's incarnation there. Sri Kuvera Pandit, who was most sober and full of loving devotion, told everyone, "We will move to the bank of the Ganges." Then along with his friends and other villagers, they all came to Shantipur from Navagram. Staying with a happy heart in Shantipur, sometimes he would go to Navadvip to meet his friends. Kuvera Pandit carefully arranged for the Lord to study the Shastras. Within a short time, the Lord, the deliverer of the fallen, also became known as a Pandit for his learning. Although the mother and father of Advaita knew the truth about him, still they forgot everything due to their parental affection. All the learned people of Shantipur were astonished seeing the activities of Advaita. Someone said, Advaita-Acharya could not be a human being, for how could a human being attract the heart of everyone the way he does? Kuvera Pandit is a glorious personality because he had such a son by whom everyone is benefited. In this way, the people spoke of Advaita as Advaita became the life and soul of everyone. Who can understand the desire of Advaita Prabhu, who gave his parents so much happiness in various ways? After some time, the Lord's mother and father disappeared, and Advaita went to Gaya to offer Shraddha. Taking the opportunity, he visited all the holy places along the way. At that time, he took mantra diksha from Madhavendra Puri. Mantra diksha. Who has the power to understand the activities of Advaita, who traveled always filled with ecstatic love of God. While traveling thus, Advaita Prabhu arrived at Mathura Mandal. Seeing the beauty of Braj, he became overwhelmed in ecstasy. After seeing all the places, he came to Vrindavan, whereupon all the Brajvasis carefully arranged his stay. Eating only some fruits, roots, and milk, people were astonished seeing his luster. Mad in ecstatic love, the Lord roared and cried out, "Will I see Krishna?" In this way, Advaita-Acharya would feel various ecstatic moods at different times. The Lord would worship Krishna near the Yamuna. Then, knowing that the time had come for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, he left Vrindavan and returned to Bengal. The pastimes of Advaita-Acharya are all like nectar, but only the fortunate can taste them. Because many things are taking place during his stay in Vrindavan. One of the significant events that took place when he was in Vrindavan is, if you've been to the Radha Madan Mohan temple in Vrindavan, Advaita-Acharya was staying just below the Radha Madan Mohan temple. Of course, he wasn't there then. It came later. This is well before Lord Chaitanya's appearance in the world. And there, they know it's called Advaita Vat, the tree under which Advaita-Acharya discovered the deity of Madan Mohan, Madan Gopal, and he worshipped that deity under the tree there. Later on, of course, the deity came into the hands of Sanatana Goswami, who worshipped the deity on top of the hill there nearby. But it was Advaita-Acharya who found that deity in that place, Madan Mohan, now known as Madan Mohan. After some time, Srinivas, the tree under which Advaita-Acharya used to stay became well known as Advaita Vat. Just by seeing this Advaita Vat, our simple reactions are mitigated, and the very rare gift of devotional love is obtained. So then Advaita-Acharya moved to Bengal, Shantipur, and he stayed there for some time. He got married. It's said that he was 50 years old when he got married. It was about that time when the Mahaprabhu appeared in the world. He was approximately 50 years older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we look at material age. Many of the Lord's associates appeared before Haridas Thakur, who was also intimate associate. At that time, Haridas Thakur had arrived in Shantipur, and he was associated with Advaita-Acharya. They were together there, chanting and discussing Krishna Caitanya. But Haridas was living in a cave, feeling hollow, and they were praying. We hear how Advaita-Acharya was praying pastimes are described slightly differently in Caitanya Bhāgavatam, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, how they appeal to the Lord, for the Lord to appear in his full form, to deliver all the living entities. At that time, Śrīmad Thakur was residing in Mayapur. Another Glories, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and other Glories were there, but majority of people in that area were Shakti worshippers, and they were very blasphemous towards the Vaishnavas. And they threatened the Vaishnavas that if you don't leave this place, you will throw your house into the river Ganga. The Muslims will come and they will destroy our village. All kinds of threats came their way. This came to the attention of the Advaita, and he became inflamed with anger when he heard that the Vaishnavas were becoming blasphemous. He became very angry. Listen, Srila. Listen, Srivas. I will call the Lord of my heart into this world, who will come to deliver all living entities. I myself am too sinful. I cannot deliver them. He is considered himself like this. I'm not eligible. If the Lord of my heart does not appear in this world to fulfill this task, then I will assume a four-armed form, and with my chakra I will cut off all the heads of the atheists and non-believers. He became very angry, extremely angry. He manifested his form. Then he kind of cooled down again and said, no, my Lord, please appear in this world. You are so merciful. Kindly come and deliver all the living entities. And he thought how to evoke the Lord's appearance. He said, I know. I will worship my Shiva. He was worshipping Shiva. And he started to worship his Shiva. Tulsi leaves and Gundarjal, crying out to the Lord to please come, praying, Lord, please appear in this world. One simply offers little Tulsi leaf, that's in Gundarjal. Lord will fulfill his desire. So he worshipped the Lord with loving eyes, appealing for the Lord to appear in this world. And he said, along with Haridas Thakur, they appealed for the Lord to come into this world. And when the Lord appeared in this world, they were in Shantipur, said they both became extremely joyous when they saw the moon had been covered by the cloud. They started dancing ecstasy. And they took baths in the river Ganga and gave charities one at a time. They were together, Haridas. They said that Haridas Thakur was basically, there's no mention of who he took any kind of spiritual guidance from him. It was Advaita-Acharya who was his mentor. So, continue reading a bit more. Lamenting that everyone was engaged in material activities. My name, Advaita Singha, will be justified when I calls the Lord of Vaikuntha to appear in this world. Therefore, the principal reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent is this appeal by Advaita-Acharya. The Lord, the protector of religion, appears by the desire of his devotee. O my Lord, you always dwell in the vision and hearing of your pure devotees. You also live in their lotus-like hearts, which are purified by devotional service. O my Lord, we are glorified by exalted prayers. You show special favor to your devotees by manifesting yourself in the eternal forms in which they welcome you. Seeing the fallen living entities, Advaita-Acharya in great distress began to fast. So, of course, the Lord appeared in this world. Advaita-Acharya and Sita Devi came there to see the child. But they were based in Shantipur. As Mahaprabhu grew up, Sachi Devi, Jagannath Mishra, they send their child sometimes to take lessons from Advaita-acharya. He was a great scholar, great Pana. So he was taking, first of all, they had another seminar course, Vishvarupa. Vishvarupa was taking lessons, and later on Caitanya Mahaprabhu was also going there. But Vishvarupa is sent first to take lessons. Caitanya Mahaprabhu would also go there and get Advaita-acharya's association. He might hand it. And after some time, Vishvarupa left home, went away, took sannyas basically. This created great distress to Sachidanta. Tremendous distress. Very, very distressed. Jagannatha had left the world, and this was a great blow to her. She had nothing left, except for now her son Nima. And she was very worried. She blamed Advaita-acharya for her son leaving home, going away and taking sannyas. So she's also very worried that her own son Nimai would also do the same thing. She was very hesitant. That was considered she committed an offence. Thus he was denied. Lord Chaitanya later on explained to his mother that you'll not experience Krishna prema because of your offence to Advaita-acharya. You have to go and take the dust from his lotus feet, then you will receive Krishna prema. So later on she realized her offence, and she went and took the dust from Advaita-acharya's lotus feet and got relieved from that offence. Another time, Advaita-acharya, he was very, Lord Chaitanya would always treat him like his spiritual master, like his father. He was much older, and he was a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. He was like the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. He would take initiation from Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri was also a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. In this way, he treated always with great respect. Lord Chaitanya would be basically worshipping Advaita-acharya. He would take the dust from his feet also and pay the respects to Advaita-acharya. Was much displeased at Advaita-acharya. He considered himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Very much a servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll just read this. This is nice. By his high devotional merits, Advaita-acharya, a stalwart amongst the followers of Lord Chaitanya, could appreciate that the Lord would react angrily to his presentation. I'll expect what happens. Advaita-acharya thought of a plan, a ploy to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy. He wanted Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So, I'll read this from this chapter here, in the Ādi-līlā, chapter number 12, a very fascinating pastime. Backtracking. We'll tell this pastime first, then we'll tell another pastime. So Advaita-acharya was very much desirous to get the opportunity to serve Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya was always praising him. So he thought, this is terrible. If only I could get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya chastising me. He thought, I got to think of something. So he got this book, Yoga Vishishta, which teaches impersonalism. And he started to preach it to some of his not so Krishna conscious students. We're very happy to hear Mayavada philosophy. We're all God. There is no God. Jnana is far superior to Bhakti. Bhakti has no chance of existence without the foundation of Jnana, which is superior to Bhakti. He was preaching all sorts of things like this. Of course, this came to the attention of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, was all-knowing, all-cognizant. But along with Nityananda, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he went with Nityananda, and they went to Shantipur. And they visited one married sannyasi on the way. There's another story. But when they reached Shantipur, Lord Chaitanya went into the house of Advaita-acharya. So when they arrived, Advaita-acharya began to speak even more vociferously in favor of his impersonalist knowledge. Can one really fathom the devotional moods and activities of the pure devotees of the Lord? Who can imagine? He's called the Lord here. Now he's preaching in person. Nityananda accompanied the irate Caitanya into Advaita's house. Advaita swayed in divine pleasure out of his part perfectly as an impersonalist, playing his part perfectly as an impersonalist. Haridas Thakur, he was also there. Haridas knew that Advaita had something up his sleeve. He was going along with it. Haridas Thakur offered obeisances to the Lord, falling on the ground like a rod. Achyuta, Advaita's son, also offered his respectful obeisances. Advaita's wife Sita Devi offered obeisances to the Lord within her mind and felt very upset upon seeing the Lord's countenance. The Lord looked very angry, fuming. The Lord's facial expression aroused fear in everyone's heart. Rumbling with anger at the end, the Lord said, "Nada! Nada! Tell me which is superior, speculative knowledge or devotional service?" Advaita replied, "Speculative knowledge is always superior. But what is the use of devotional service if a person is devoid of impersonal knowledge?" As soon as these words entered the Lord's ears, Lord Chaitanya became inflamed and forgot his surroundings. He pulled Advaita down from his asana, because Advaita didn't seem to be bowing down, he just sat in his asana, just like Romaharshana or something. Just like Baladev pulled him, the way he hit him with a blade of grass. But here the Lord pulled him down from his asana and dragged him, pulled him down by his hair, dragged him out onto the patio outside the house. There he threw him down to the ground and struck him repeatedly. Advaita's wife Sita Devi is the universal mother and knows all these confidential topics. Yet she could not restrain herself from trying to stop the Lord. "Stop! Stop!" she cried out. "He's just an old Brahmin. For whose benefit do you chastise him so heavily? He's so old he may not survive your harsh behavior. You will find it difficult to avoid the consequences then of your own actions." He's trying to appeal to save her husband. Nityananda smiled at his words, and Haridas Thakur repeated Krishna's name in great fear. Chaitanya was so angry he did not even hear Sita Devi's words. Roaring like angry thunder, he spoke to Advaita. "I was gently relaxing on the milk ocean, and you interrupted my sleep, calling me to attend to your work. You engineered the propagation of devotional service. Now you audaciously obscure the devotional process with your circumventory explanation of impersonalism. If you had already made up your mind to surreptitiously broadcast your speculative theories, then why did you take the trouble of revealing me to the world? I did not disregard your desire and wishes, but you have deceived me in all respects." Finally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped chastising Advaita and went to sit next to the doorway. He spoke loudly, revealing his real identity to all. He said, "O Nada, you know everything. Behold, I am the one who slew Kamsa. Shiva, Brahma, Ananta, Shesh, and Lakshmi Devi are all constantly engaged in serving me. The impostor Vasudeva met his end, vanquished by my Sudarshan disc. The same disc reduced the entire city of Varanasi to ashes." He goes on, explaining its supreme position. As the Lord revealed his various pastimes, Advaita felt gradually submerged in an ocean of ecstatic bliss. Advaita was more than happy to receive his due punishment in this manner, and he clapped his hands and danced in joy, feeling peace and humility within. He said, "My Lord, you have rightfully remonstrated me, and I am lucky to get away with so little. Now I am clear about your divine authority, and I'm feeling renewed strength in my relationship with you as your servant." Advaita danced around in ecstasy, and then, creasing his eyebrows together, he prayed to the Lord, "Now where are your flattering words about me? What has happened to all that deceit? You can insult me. I am neither Devasa Muni, whose remnants of rice is smeared upon your body, nor am I Bhrigu Muni, whose foot impression decorated your breast, and is now known as the famous Srivatsa. My name is simply Advaita, purely your eternal and humble servant, and I am always hankering, birth after birth, to receive your remnants. By the effect of your remnants of mercy, I am unscathed by the ravages of your illusory potencies. The punishment is now over, so please give me the shelter of your lotus feet. There's a lot to be understood in our relative position here. You know, sometimes we get puffed up. The Lord, cutting a long story short, the Lord sometimes, by His causeless mercy, chastises us. We don't like it very much. But this is a great mercy. When we're sufficiently chastised, it's like the Ācārya says, your punishment is now over. Please give me the shelter of the lotus feet. When we're sufficiently, you could say, corrected, and Pratishta, and Laba, and all the other nartas that plague us in this material world are removed by the causeless mercy of the Lord, then we can actually take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. So our great Ācārya is teaching this important lesson for all of us here. We all have, especially when Prabhupada started our Krishna consciousness, ISKCON, he was preaching strongly against Mayavad philosophy. And those that know what Mayavad was, they were all just joined, just 66. But one of them thought Prabhupada had some hang-up with some kind of group of people in India. Mayavadis, we couldn't get off his mind. They obviously must have upset him somehow. He couldn't get out of his mind, you know, he couldn't forget them. They were plaguing him. Why do we talk so much about these Mayavadis? He said, because you're a Mayavadi. You're all Mayavadis. Everyone's plagued by Mayavad philosophy. Everybody. We call ourselves religious, we call ourselves devotees. There's still an element of thinking, I am the enjoyer. I am in the center. You know, how I feel, what I want. I want it my way. I want this, I want that. I don't like this, I don't like that. Anyone says anything to us, we flick out. One small criticism, we hit the roof. Sometimes it's like that, we can't even bear one little criticism. And the Ācārya is teaching us a big lesson. If you get round to it, we'll be more. Prabhupada's words on this. Let's see. Very important lesson Ācārya teaching us. We are not God. And how to actually come to realize that and actually take shelter of Krishna's lotus. The Lord Himself takes the position to take shelter of His own lotus feet, which is the highest existence, you could say, highest perfection, highest form of love. But unfortunately, being in the material world, the reason for being here, why Mahavishnu or Ācārya places us here in the first place, is because we don't want to surrender with Krishna's lotus feet. Vishwambar, saying this, Advaita, the master of Shantipur, then fell to the ground and placed his head on the Lord's lotus feet. We think that Krishna should place his head on our lotus feet. Give me this, give me that, arrange this, arrange that. Come here, come there, do this, do that. We want God to be our servant. Hastily, with due respect, Vishwambar picked up Advaita upon his lap as tears flooded his eyes, cascading down unrestrained. Nityananda and Haridas Thakur were unable to contain their ecstatic emotions at the sight of such a display of divine devotional fervor, and tears flowed from their eyes in rivers. Sita Devi and Chutananda and the servants of the house were crying in intense joy. Advaita's whole house became immersed in Krishna prema. Vishwambar now felt ashamed after having chastised Advaita so severely, and now wanted to compensate him by offering a boon. He said, if anyone so much as takes the smallest shelter at your feet, be he an insect, worm, animal, bird, and even if he commits 1,000,000 offenses against me, I will still grant him my blessing. Chaitanya-caritāmṛta said that to Advaita. When Advaita heard this boon, he fell at the Lord's feet and crying like a meek child said, whatever you have said, my Lord, is certainly true. Now please hear and grant me one favor. If anyone tries to follow and worship me but does not serve your lotus feet, then let that so-called devotion to me vanquish him. I cannot accept anyone who does not serve you. He may be my son or servant, but I shall consider him a great offender and shall never see his face, because I cannot bear to see anyone who neglects your lotus feet. Those who worship you automatically become my dearest friends. Funny, he had 6 kids, and 3 of the children, they fell into that bracket of being offenders. 3 of them, Chuta was a great devotee. But 3 of them, they didn't have this faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were great offenders. They were rejected by Ācārya on that grounds. Let's see. We just tell a little bit now. Not much time. So much more nectar about Ācārya. We just tell a couple of little things and we'll have to leave, I'm afraid. 9 o'clock we have to finish it. Is that right? It's fasting today.
It's fasting today.
Yeah. What does that mean? Still fasting at 9 or a few minutes after?
10.
Pardon? You said 10. Stretching a bit. And maybe a few minutes less. So you may know that I think there's many things that Ācārya offered the showed as the first plate to Haridas Thakur to establish the position behind, although he was the most elevated Brahmin in Shantipur, a town basically of Brahmins. The offering to the forefathers, the first plate was on the plate of the offering was offered to Haridas Thakur, and this enraged many of the Brahmins who couldn't understand it. How was it possible? They were proud, but he was showing actually a Vaishnava is actually the most qualified person, higher than Brahman. And he was teaching them things. But when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, of course, his devastating news to one, and all we heard a little bit yesterday about Vishnu Priya had to face that ordeal and all the lessons of having to be. Lord Chaitanya placed them all into Vipulamba Bhav, as he did when he apparently left him alone. So anyway, after that, took sannyas, Katwa, and then he was traveling for 3 or 4 days in Radhadesh area of Bengal, wandering with Nityananda and a few others, Chandrasekhar and a few others or whatever. Here and there, like a madman, not knowing where he was. He just wanted to go to Vrindavan. He was just asking Nityananda. Because Nityananda had been to Vrindavan, he'd stayed in Vrindavan 12 years thereabouts. He was appealing to Nityananda, maybe please, I want to go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is like always on his heart. So Nityananda said, yes, my Lord, we're going to Vrindavan, we're going to Vrindavan. Of course, news had come to Navadvip, all the devotees, what had happened. Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas, they were all devastated. Nobody was happy with this. So Nityananda made an arrangement, and he sent a message to Ācārya to prepare. He was going to take Lord Chaitanya to Shantipur. And he told all the devotees of Mayapur, Navadvip, to meet him, to come there to Shantipur, and go see the Lord again. Well, this was unknown to Lord Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya was like completely in man, day and night, fasting, thinking of eating and sleeping, just chanting, dancing. So anyway, they're going along here and there. And Lord Chaitanya was convincing Lord Chaitanya they were approaching the Vrindavan, because Lord had no concept of time whatsoever. A few days had passed. And then, Lord Nityananda asked these young cowboys on the banks and told them what to say. And very near is the river Jamuna River. River Jamuna is very close. So then they Chaitanya thought they're nearly there, so onwards they went. And then they reached there. This is the river Jamuna. We've reached Jamuna. We've reached Jamuna. Very close to Vrindavan. And Chaitanya became ecstatic. And right there when he saw the Jamuna, he just immersed himself with his clothes on. He jumped into the river Jamuna and took his bath in the Jamuna in ecstasy, thinking, now we've almost reached Vrindavan. At that moment, suddenly, on the order of Janananda, he made the whole arrangement. So the Advaita-Acharya appeared on the boat. Lord Chaitanya, Advaita, how did you know that I was going to Vrindavan? Advaita-Acharya said, my Lord, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Janananda started curious. What is he doing here? Advaita-Acharya said, my Lord, don't worry. Please, now I brought fresh cloth for you. You put on this fresh, dry cloth, open and you kindly come very nearby. I made a little arrangements for your prasadam. If you please kindly grace me by coming to my house, taking prasadam. Please. Lord Chaitanya was looking at Nityananda. You've cheated me. You've deceived me. You told me this was the Yamuna. Here, the Advaita-Acharya, this is the Ganga. This is not the Yamuna. And then the Advaita-Acharya said, oh my Lord, the place where you've just taken your bath is actually the Yamuna. Because at this point, the two rivers flow together. So Nityananda has not cheated you. This is actually the Yamuna. But Lord Chaitanya was not very inspired. But anyway, he went off. They went off, the two brothers went off to the house of Advaita-Acharya to take prasadam. Advaita-Acharya was his wife had been cooking, and she was no ordinary cook, being none other than Yogamaya. And she was no ordinary cook. They cooked an unbelievable amount of preparation. Unbelievable. We don't have time to read the whole story, just can't remember so much, little bits and pieces. So they wanted to know, the Advaita-Acharya brought the two brothers into the room, and the offering was to take place. And it was on various plates. The Lord was very happy to see this is the offering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thousands and thousands of preparations. Large quantities were laid out in front of the deity. And then Advaita-Acharya said, now please sit down and take your little lunch. Lord Chaitanya said, just give me a little leaf plate. I will take some boiled vegetable and a little rice. No, my Lord. Advaita-Acharya said, no, please you sit down. This is not befitting me. I'm a sannyasi. This sort of food is not meant to be eaten by a sannyasi. I might, I lose my position. Very dangerous for a sannyasi to eat such opulent food. Advaita-Acharya said, I know who you are. I know who you are. But I can't eat this. Just sit down and eat. Give up your word jumping like this. Just sit down. I know who you are. In Jagannath Puri, you eat 56 times a day. And you eat much vast pots of the prasadam each time. I know who you are. This is but merely a morsel for you. Please sit down. And the Lord forced him to sit down. And the Lord said, I can't eat this. He said, just be quiet. Whatever I put on the plate, you just eat half of it and leave the rest if you wish. Just sit down, be quiet and eat. Forced him to sit down. And Lord Nityananda happily sat down. They started to eat. Every time the Lord had half of something, he would fill the pot up again. It was like unending prasadam coming in. Unending. Lord Nityananda, on the contrary, was not at all of the same mindset. Lord Nityananda said, "What is this? I have been fasting for 3 days, and now I see that I will have to fast again. This will not even half fill my belly." Advaita looked at him and said, "I am a poor Brahmin. What can I do? I can only give this much. You are a wandering mendicant. You sit down, you should accept what I say. Who do you think you're coming here telling me like this? This is what I can all that I can offer. Sit down, be quiet, eat this. Eat." And then Nityananda got quite upset and he started accusing him. "You're just a caste Brahmin." And they're going to each other, little words, they're going back and forth. "You just, no, you don't know, you just can't, whoever I am," because Nityananda, Advaita would accuse Nityananda of being some kind of outsider or renegade. No one knows your caste. Just, what's the word he used? Very interesting word, you know. Avadut. Something. A little insulting, I forgot the word. He called it something. Anyway, he insulted him with various words. "No one knows your caste, you were just going here and there, no one even knows who you are. I shouldn't have even invited you into my home. I don't even know who you are. You may have ruined all my political principles. Whoever you are, you invited me into your home. Now, you give up all these foolish caste consciousness and so on." They were going at each other like anything. They were accusing each other, chastising each other. And they always had this relationship, Nityananda and Advaita were always fighting with each other all the time. They would wrestle with each other and chastise each other all the time. They had this wrestle going on. And anyway, it was loud, Lord Chaitanya was laughing, everyone was laughing. And they were going at each other. I'd love to read it. It's what to do. It's so much fun. Anyway, they're going on. Eventually, Nityananda, he said, "I can't, I want to even half your food." He picks up some rice and threw it at Ācārya. And Ācārya said, "Now you have ruined," he said, "I will never come again into your houses." And then there's a rice hit into Ācārya jumped up in the air and started, "I will never again invite any sannyasis to my home, because the sannyasi who has ruined all my Brahminical principles." They were going at each other like this. It was just like real. Anyway, it was ecstasy, and eventually I got on with their business. They always had these kind of ecstatic relationships. We don't need to imitate these type of things, but these are kind of a spiritual interaction, exchanges, loving exchanges between intimate associates. And there's another one, a very interesting one. We've already mentioned a little bit about that, but I want to read something as that was the example of him being chastised by Lord Chaitanya. Now, Advaita-acharya had a servant named Caitanya-caritāmṛta, who was a very close servant of Advaita-acharya, who knew everything about Advaita-acharya. But it so happened that one time, Advaita-acharya had accrued a debt of 300 rupees. So, Caitanya-caritāmṛta, this is when they were in Jagannath Puri. Every year, Advaita-acharya, more or less every year, would come to Puri for the Rath-yatra, spend months and months there with Lord Chaitanya in Puri for that period of time. And he would also invite the Lord then to his home. But whilst he was there, somehow or another, he had accrued a debt of 300 rupees thereabouts. So Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he went to King Prataparupa to try to ask the king to solve this, relieve him of this debt. And Lord Chaitanya, again, he heard about this, he came to him. Lord Chaitanya became quite angry. What nonsense is he talking? On one hand, he says that Advaita-acharya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the other hand, he accused him of being a poverty-stricken beggar. It's complete nonsense. He's a ball, he's a madman. He should be banned. So he sent a message, this Caitanya-caritāmṛta, he said, "I never want to see his face again." But Advaita-acharya became very upset. Seeing Caitanya-caritāmṛta unhappy, Advaita-acharya told him, you are greatly fortunate to have been punished by the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very, very pleased. I'll read a bit of purport here. When Lord Chaitanya punished Caitanya-caritāmṛta by no longer allowing him to come in his presence, although the punishment was actually very hard on him, Advaita-Acharya, understanding the inner meaning of such punishment, was happy because he appreciated that the Lord had actually favored Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Therefore, he was not at all unhappy. Devotees should always be happy with all the dealings of their master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee may be put into difficulty or opulence, but he should accept both as gifts of the Supreme Lord and jubilantly engage in the service of the Lord in all circumstances. This is an authoritative judgment by Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He clearly advises that one should not be unhappy when reverses come upon him by the order of the Supreme Lord. A devotee should always be happy to receive the fortune awarded him by the Supreme Lord, which seems pleasant or unpleasant according to one's judgment. The mood of the devotee who wants to advance to attain Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, to accept this as the Lord's mercy, not to react, "Oh, why are you doing this against me?" We always tend to bite back. This is the silent reminder of these impersonals. We see ourselves in the center. We don't see Krishna's hand working. Formerly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always respected me as his senior, but I did not like such respect. And he talks about his preaching of Yoga Vishishta, how happy he was when he was punished. After pacifying Caitanya-caritāmṛta Vishvasa in this way, Sri Advaita Prabhu went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita-Acharya told Lord Chaitanya, "I cannot understand your transcendental pastimes. You have shown more favor to Caitanya-caritāmṛta than you generally show to me. The favor you have shown to Caitanya-caritāmṛta is so great that even to me you have never shown such favor. What offense have I committed to your lotus feet so as not to be shown such favor?" Hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed with satisfaction and immediately called the Caitanya-caritāmṛta Vishvasa. Advaita-Acharya then said to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, "Why have you called this man? Why have you called him back and allowed him to see you again? He has cheated me in 2 ways." And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, his mind was satisfied. Only they could understand each other's minds. Lord Chaitanya instructed Caitanya-caritāmṛta, "You are a balya, one who does not know things as they are. Why are you acting this way? Why do you invade the privacy of Advaita-Acharya and damage his religious principles? Advaita-Acharya, my spiritual master, should never accept charity from rich men or kings. If a spiritual master accepts money or grains from such materialist, his mind becomes polluted." Very important purport. We don't have time. Where Śrīmad Bhāgavatam describes how important it is that we should be very careful on the type of food which we eat and from whom it comes, if we want to maintain our devotional principles. When one's mind is polluted, it is very difficult to remember Krishna. When remembrance of Krishna is hampered, one's life is unproductive. Again, the same point being mentioned there, that the material world is meant to chastise the living entities. This is why Krishna has created this world. At the same time, through his consort, Mayadevi, at the same time, living entities don't learn their lessons, generally speaking. We remain averse to Krishna. So he appears in this form to try to change our consciousness, change our attitude. We can accept chastisement from the material energy or whatever form it may come, and surrender to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Well, I don't know, maybe it's 10 past 9. The Lord Chaitanya loved Advaita-Acharya's dancing. He used to dance in the Rath Yatras. Lord Chaitanya would personally select the dancers, the first thing he would do in the Rath Yatra festival, there were 7 parties, 4 directly arranged by Lord Chaitanya. And each party, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chose the lead dancer. So he chose 4, then he chose 4 lead singers. And he chose 5 accompanying singers in each party. There were 2 Madhunga players in each party and 6 or 8 kartal players in each party. So different persons were chosen, hand-picked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because it's not just a free-for-all. The whole Rath Yatra is to evoke, you could say, the heart of Lord Jagannath to return to Vrindavan, to satisfy the willing with the burning desire of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. It's not something to show off, have a good time, flip out, whatever you do on Rath Yatra. It's actually this cry for the Lord to come back. So, on that level, obviously, it's a whole different situation. But in this particular case, everything with all this, each song was just the song to fit the relationship between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath. Everything was just perfect. Every single beat, every single thing went on the dancing, everything just completely harmonized with the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The dancing was such an important part of it. He chose 4 dancers in the center, and they were, usually when we think of dancers, we think of young people, or younger bodied people, at least that type of dancing. But the 4 dancers he chose were Advaita-Acharya, who was at that time in his 80s, Advaita-Acharya was about 70. Haridasa Thakur was about 70. And then Nityananda Prabhu was 12 years senior to Mahaprabhu, and then the final, of course, was famous dancer. What's his name? Krishna Pandit, famous dancer. So these 4 personalities were the 4 main dancers, 4 priors. So Advaita-Acharya was a great ecstatic dance. I mean, ecstatic dancing doesn't just mean showing off, having a good time. It means it was actually connected with the heartbeat of Lord Chaitanya, in essence, in this kirtan. In our case, at least, we're connected with the kirtan, the sound of the holy name. One dances to the sound. It's like, inseparable from the sound of the instruments, whatever instrument we're playing, they're following the holy name. They're not trying to control it. They're meant to embellish the holy name, to bring out the chanting. And if it doesn't bring out the chanting, it's useless. Playing instruments, not chanting, dancing, not chanting. If you're told to do that, that's okay. But otherwise, it's not right. If you're playing the drum or playing the djembe especially, you should be chanting at the top of your voice so you can't hear the djembe. So it's so loud, not that we just bang away, handstand, bang, or dance like an idiot. But the chanting should be, we should chant at the top of our voices. With the holy name, which is the Yugadam, there to embellish, the instruments come along to embellish. Anything along with this kirtan. Amazing stories in Chaitanya Bhāgavatam about the dancing. Beautiful stories. Big description of all the food stuff which were offered to the Lord by Advaita-Acharya. This is what he said. Advaita-Acharya said, "You are a reject Paramahamsa." You would have set the renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand your business is to give trouble to Brahmins. You can eat 10 to 20 manas of rice. I'm a poor Brahmin. How shall I get so much rice? Whatever you have, though it be a poundful of rice, eat it and get up. Don't show your madness and strew the remnants here and there. I said, "My belly is not yet filled up. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it." Janananda, I invited you, and indeed I have received the results. You have no fixed caste or dynasty. By nature you are a madman. And yourself, you will throw the remnants of your food at me. You did not even fear the fact that I'm a brahmin. Janananda said, these are remnants of food left by Lord Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. If you invite at least 100 sannyasis to your home and feed them sumptuously, your offense will be nullified. I shall never again invite another sannyasi, for it is a sannyasi who has spoiled all my Brahminical Smriti regulations. Going back and forth. He also invited the Lord to his home in Puri, and at that time, and in Puri, Lord Caitanya-caritāmṛta would go for every day, go to different houses to take prasadam practically. And during the time when all the devotees were there from Puri, and that day, there's a Ācārya wanted to have the Lord on his home. But the Lord would always go with all of his inner associates, dozens and dozens of devotees would travel. He wanted them along, so what to do, what to do. So that day, everyone was getting ready to go to Advaita's home. Advaita had cooked everything for Lord Chaitanya. We were just praying. So that day, it so happened that an enormous storm took place. Torrential rainfall. Nobody could go anywhere. They couldn't reach Advaita's house. Only Lord Chaitanya, on his path, there was no rain. He just walked there and he alone reached the house of Advaita, and all his desires were fulfilled. That way, at least on that occasion, Indra got some blessings when he poured down rain. This is how he atoned for pouring the rain down under God, one of his atonements. On this occasion, he was Ācārya glorified Indra. Thank you, you fulfilled all my desires. You can read something pastimes if you have time today in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhaktivedanta, other literatures about the glories of the Ācārya. On this wonderful day, we're supposed to be fasting this morning and pray for the Ācārya. As we sang that song, Prabhupada sang the song this morning, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Koramori. And then there, Narottam Das describes how it's only by the mercy of Lord Janananda we can get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, but only by the mercy of the Ācārya can we get Janananda's mercy. It's interesting how Ācārya being Sadhu Shiva, combined form of Shiva and Vishnu. And he also oversees, you could say, the false ego, the initial false ego that the deity develops when we come in contact with the Mahatattva. We develop this false conception of who we are and identify with the material energy. By the mercy of Lord Ācārya, we can become free of that false identity. All these various pastimes are to cut that false ego, the root of our, you could say, of our materialistic conditioning is this false ego, this false identification with the grace of Lord Shiva in the form of Ācārya. We pray to Lord Shiva in the form of Ācārya to help us to become free of this false ego. We no longer see ourselves as the enjoyer, see ourselves as the proprietor, see ourselves as the center, as the controller, the doer, and so on and so forth. Just see us fortunate, we felt in the mood of feeling myself fortunate to be able to be engaged with the devotees of the Lord. Some Ācārya expressed here would be the servant, servant. Shri Advaita-Acharya ki jai. The appearance day of Shri Advaita-Acharya ki jai. Prema